Hey, what's up? It's your boy Laterras R, Whitfield, host of Dear Future Wifey Podcast. First of all, I invite you to subscribe to the Dear Future Wifey Podcast, as well as go wherever you pick up your favorite book, or maybe you don't like reading. Well, it's available on audio. Go get Student of Love today. Your life will be changed. Student of Love is your journey to discover, uncover, and recover healthy relationships. We're all on the journey. Let's heal together.
I'm down 162 pounds in 6 months, and it feels great. Looking at myself in the mirror is a trip. I marvel at myself now because I'm like, man, I've done this in 6 months. 6 months is not that long ago.
I started this program back on July 1st at 288.5 pounds. Today I weighed in at 184. When I first got here, I was sad and depressed and stressed out. Over time, I regained my self-esteem, my willpower, my determination, and those things have helped me to grow and become happier with myself and in life.
Use code TFU10 for a discount on the full body cleanse.
Welcome into another episode of TFU Podcast.
Let's go.
On today's episode, we got the creator of one of the biggest podcasts in the world.
Talk about it.
He's an Emmy-nominated producer, playwright, author, love guru, Laterras R. Whitfield.
Hold on now. You said love guru. See, I don't like to be called a love guru.
See, you already messing up.
I'm a student, so I look at myself as being a student of love, you know, and I just got married 6 months ago, and so I can't be called a guru because I've experienced a divorce, and so I'm a student. I want to learn. I want to be a student, my wife's greatest scholar. That's what I want to be. Yeah.
But you got all the answers.
Well, no,
Everybody's looking. We all looking at you.
Well, listen, I'm trying to figure it out. So we're going to be in class together. You can cheat off my paper at times, but I'm still trying to figure it out. I'm trying to figure it out.
Man, so you from Texas, right?
Born and raised, Dallas, Texas.
Okay.
Yeah.
How was it growing up in Texas?
Man, listen, I grew up poor. I grew up next door to the projects.
Mm-hmm.
You know, lights getting cut off. Dad, we would go to sleep where we, you know, stomachs growling or whatnot. Dad waking us up in the middle of the night saying, hey, I got some chicken that he done got from the hood for us to wake up and eat. You know, we were poor to the extent that breakfast food is cheaper than dinner, and so a lot of times we ate breakfast food for dinner. So we were struggling, but I wouldn't take that back for the world.
Right. So one of the things that you created, did you create Dear Future Wifey while you in Dallas?
Yeah, I created in Dallas in 2020. I launched Dear Future Wifey April the 15th. You know, that date people know because that's when you have to do your taxes, turn in your taxes on April the 15th. But I launched Dear Future Wifey in 2020, right at the beginning of COVID.
What made you want to start that?
I wanted to become a better man. I said I knew I wanted to get married again. At that time, I had been divorced a good 5 years. And I want to become better, and I want to create a platform where I can be transparent and vulnerable. I knew that a lot of people were dealing with some of the same stuff that I dealt with, and said that, you know, let's create an outlet for people to heal. But I first said I had to heal myself, and so that was the process.
So when you say better, that sounds like the first go around didn't go that well.
Oh no, I wasn't the type of dude that I would recommend my daughter marrying. And so I had to become better. You know, I've been very open about my infidelity in my past marriage.
You was out there cheating?
Oh yeah, I was out there cheating. I lacked integrity. Didn't realize that God called me to be something greater.
Okay.
And so after operating like that, I ended up filing for divorce. And I said, you know what? I wanna become the man that I could look in the mirror and be proud of.
Wait a minute. You filed for a divorce?
Yeah, I filed for divorce.
And you was doing the cheating?
Yeah, because after all of that, you know, after the cheating, it's just a lot of healing that needed to take place from both of us. And we reached the impasse where the marriage was just at a stalemate. And I just felt like it would be best if we just salvage our friendship by filing for divorce.
Okay, so now you started Dear Future Wifey. How did that start? In the beginning, how'd it go?
Start out during COVID, just me in front of a microphone sharing my heart, saying that I want to become a better man. I created this moniker where I say, journey with me as I discover, uncover, and recover love.
I love that.
And so those are the 3 iterations of my single journey. So discovering is for me to figure out who I am and what this thing called love is now in these dating streets. Things have changed, AD. Things have changed a lot in these dating streets.
The internet.
Exactly.
Man, the internet will keep you single. Actually, Instagram will keep you single.
Well,
I don't care what nobody says.
Why? Because you have all the options?
But it's not that you have the options. You always feel like the options are available to you. You be like, nah. Let me just DM this one and I'm gonna say hi to this one. I think that when you can see the whole entire world in front of you, it kind of moves. You start moving in a different direction.
Yeah. And so that's why I created the podcast. I said, what does love look like? Let's discover it. Then let's uncover. And the uncover phase was when I, in these dating streets, I say shaking trees and seeing what kind of fruit falls out to see what the alignment looks like. And the recover is what I did on November the 22nd of 2025, where I married my now wifey. So it's been beautiful, my forever wifey. And so that was the iteration of it. And so that's what the Dear Future Wifey podcast was created for, is for me to be on this journey, having conversations, vulnerable, transparent conversations with people, as we talked about love, talked about our hopes and desires of marriage, those that didn't want to get married, those that still don't want to get married. Let's talk about it, let's unpack it, and hopefully we can all heal together.
So going back to your first marriage, did she want to stay together with you before?
Yeah, I think she wanted to stay. It's just that there was no growth in it. It was one of those situations where we were together to be together, but we weren't progressing. I used to look at it as the cursed fig tree in the Bible, where Jesus passed by the fig tree that wasn't bearing fruit in season, and he cursed it and it withered away. I felt like our marriage was just withering away, that it wasn't growing, it wasn't becoming any better. We didn't argue, so we never even really argue like that. It was just like we were just, as they said, there's a stranger in my house. It's like we were just living together and coexisting, but there was no growth.
And you mentioned something that your relationship with her stayed amicable.
Yeah. Can
you be friends with your ex while still pursuing, other relationships?
I think it can happen, and that's what happened with me and my ex-wife. But it wasn't like we were talking every day. We would talk like once every 4 or 5 months or something. But that was only when it's necessary. So we were still friendly. We weren't like we best friends where we about to go on double dates together. It wasn't that type of situation. But I do believe, and I've seen it happen often, where people say that their ex, whether it's their ex-wife, ex-husband, or just somebody that they dated, they still maintain a strong friendship, and they've gone on couples trips together, especially if they're in a co-parenting situation.
Do you think sometimes people will be doubling back?
I think that they probably do. But
did Laterras double back?
No, I never did.
Okay,
I never.
Good.
No, we never. Once it was done, it was done.
Okay.
So
that's what I always, when girls be like, nah, that's my best friend, I'll be like,
they say best friend is a little different. That's why I say I'm never going to be best friends with my ex. That just doesn't work out that way. So, and then you got to respect the relationship you're in. If you're sitting there calling your ex your best friend and you're in another relationship, then you're slighting that current relationship for somebody that was in the past.
So in a scenario where you're in a relationship and then the partner you're with is still friends with the ex, do you have to withstand that? It's like, oh yeah, we just went to lunch. Or can you say something about it?
You can always say something. I tell people, do not be silent over things that are impeding on your boundaries. If you have a boundary and you say, that doesn't make me feel comfortable, share that. And if that person, how that person deals with that discomfort lets you know whether you're a priority or not. If they say, well, listen, that's going to be my friend and he ain't going nowhere, then thank you. I think I need to go somewhere. Because I'm not finna, you're not about to choose between me and him and you choose him. Like that's just not gonna work. So at the end of the day, I believe that people should have healthy boundaries, and each individual can determine what those boundaries are, and that significant other has to be able to justify that or say, no, I don't care. This is what I'm gonna do. But I believe that you should all speak up.
So when you had when you were doing your podcast, Dear Future Wifey, did you notice that women started saying, hey, he look all right over there, and they start coming at you left and right?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, if you have a podcast where you're being an intentional man desiring marriage, at the end of each episode, I'm writing letters to my future wifey. It's all romantic and poetic. Yeah, of course, it's a lot of women would pursue me. You know, they would show up at my live events. They would go on my retreats. They would move to Dallas. They would send packages in the mail. I had some legit stalkers.
Move to Dallas is crazy.
They would move to Dallas, literally move without me having one conversation with them. They would move to Dallas and be like, hey, DMing me, I moved here, or show up at my church. My pastor would hit me up and be like, can you tell these women this is not your mailing address, that they sending stuff to the church, reaching out to my pastor saying, hey, listen, I think you need to talk to Laterras and let him know that I'm his wife, you know? And I'm like, I don't even know who these people are. You know, it got really, really ridiculous.
It's probably still, I know everyone knows you got married. Has it improved, or is it still bad?
It literally died down 100%.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it died down 100%. Now I see people commenting and say, wow, I didn't know he got married yet. So you get those, but it's been, 100% respect to Ashley. No one has said, it's matter of fact, we hashtag our wedding, this is for all of us. And we got that because one of the supporters of Dear Future Wifey, the Lit fam, shout out to y'all. This lady commented when I announced the whole mystery bride where her hand was on my shoulder that went super viral. They put hashtag this is for all of us. And so it told us that people are celebrating us and finding hope in their own love journey, believing that God has somebody in store for them as well. So it was beautiful.
Was people mad at you because you were talking about, I don't know, sometimes you just get weird people, like you were being this intentional person and talking about marriage and things like that, but you weren't married?
Absolutely. Man, people was like, he don't really want to be married. They was like, he don't want to be married. He got all these women he could be with. Why ain't he married yet? And I'm like, y'all not realize I'm divorced. Like, I made that decision before at 24 years. Well, I was 28 years old when that happened. So I was married at 28, was married for almost 10 years. And here I am on a journey, and I was very intentional about making sure that I worked out all my idiosyncrasies, knowing that I could be a disciplined man, operating in abstinence for seasons of my life to kill my flesh so that when I took these vows to be a righteous husband, that I could be faithful until death do we part. But a lot of people want to rush the process and be like, well, you should have just got married. No, if I would have married some of the people that they thought I should have married back then, or just jumped and got married, I would have never met the amazing woman that I waited for, which is my lovely wife, Ashley.
So when you started the podcast, were you abstinent?
Oh, no. Oh, no. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I was the opposite of abstinent.
How long, when you say abstinent, how long were you abstinent?
So I start the podcast April the 15th. By December, I did take a vow of abstinence. I took a vow of abstinence. I brought Pastor Conway Edwards on the podcast, and it's in that whole story. You got to watch the episode, but it was because I visited his church that January of 2020, and it was a seed that was planted. But I took a vow of abstinence December. It's like December 15th, middle of it, whatever, we did the episode. And then I was abstinent for about 7 months. Then I fell off. Then I ended up becoming abstinent about 8 months again. And then I fell off again. And then I became abstinent. So it's like, so it was journeys, but never in my life until 2020 had I ever even practiced abstinence. It was never even a thing. It was never anything somebody ever taught me, anything that I desired to do. And so the reason why I did that is because I didn't want to leave a trail of broken hearts as I was trying to even heal myself. You know what I'm saying? That. I'm going through this process of Dear Future Wifey, being very intentional about becoming a righteous man. And then here I am behind the scenes, you know, having sex with different women, breaking hearts, essentially. You know, and sometimes we assume that, but there's some women out there that be like, you ain't breaking my heart. This is what I want to do. And so I'm saying at the end of the day, I want to make sure that I can operate as a man of integrity, but even more so to become a disciplined man so that my body wouldn't be so acclimated to sleeping with different women and then taking a vow of getting married. And your body ain't like, hold on, why we got to be with this one woman? Like this couple of weeks ago, you was with this girl, and then a month before that, you was with this girl, and this. So I want to make sure that I could train my body to operate in a level of discipline that I've never operated in before.
Now, Laterras, I always hear this one thing that they say. Well, men really, they lead with this now that men aren't supposed to be with one woman.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that? Because they're saying that we're hunters, we're this, we're that. Is that where are you with that?
I believe that from and we can go historically and all that stuff, that it was acceptable in a lot of nations and countries and whatnot for men to have multiple wives and all that. I believe that I'm a Christian. So as a Christian man, I believe that I am supposed to be with one woman. I believe that. And it feels so, I remember telling my wife this morning, last night when we went to sleep, I rolled over on her and just started kissing on her cheek. And I said, you know what? I'm just so happy to be married. And the reason why for me personally is because I have one woman. I've never felt the joy that I have been married to one woman like I did. Like when I was single, dating all these different women, that still never gave me peace. It felt like something was missing. I've never, ever woke up one day and said, gosh, I feel good having all these different women. It just never felt peaceful. It felt stressful. It's like you talking to one girl, another girl calling you. You gotta say, hey, I got company. I'll call you tomorrow. Like it's just too much. Now I'm chilling. My phone can be, see my phone up right now. And I'm used to having my phone facing up because I have nothing to hide. And so my wife got the code to my phone. She got she know where I'm at right now because I share locations. That level of peace, that level of covering was something that feels so peaceful to me right now because I just got one woman. The guys that have multiple women and they're married to multiple women, or they're married and they got side chicks or whatever, that's for their story to tell. I'm saying for me, it just feels so peaceful.
When you're in a relationship, is your phone down or up?
He got silent.
He got silent. Ready. He wasn't. Is it down or up?
It's up. Talking about sharing locations, though.
I'm not doing that.
This is how I got away from sharing locations, because they're like, oh, let's just share location. I'm like, you can have my location. I don't want yours. And it's like, it cannot be that way. It has to be both sides.
Yeah.
And that's how if they ever ask you to share location, I'm like,
I just say no. I'm not sharing location.
But listen, I didn't share.
If you want to need to know where I am, no, I know everybody can do whatever they want to do. Listen, have fun with it. But listen,
I've never shared a location while I was dating anybody, period, in my entire life.
That's what I'm talking about.
But the first time and the only woman I've ever shared location with is my wife.
It's a safety concern, too.
Yeah,
safety. He a man. He gonna be fine.
And
he from Dallas. He can carry a gun
all day.
He has stalkers.
Yeah.
Well, that's different.
But even for her, it just feels good to just know that it's an extension of covering to me. The location is just an extension of covering. So it just felt great.
I'm so glad you're talking about this location thing. So I had a friend that we used to hang out. He used to play video games all the time at my house. And we'd be playing all night long, talking shit, betting, having fun. So then next thing you know, he started cheating. So then I think one of my other friends was hanging out at my house. He was just like, dude, what's his name is down. He's over there by the mailbox. He's just been sitting there for hours. He's sitting there for hours because of the fact that his wife got the location, and he trying to act like he at my house before he go away and start cheating. And so that's what people start going. Even if people sharing location, people still out there.
They're gonna find a way.
I don't even know this for sure.
You just lay the phone.
Just leave the phone there,
and then
and go do whatever they gotta do and come back.
If you have an iPad too.
You
Yeah,
can.
let's say you have an iPad, you can share the location of the iPad and not the phone.
Yeah, but they probably
wow.
can't. But they probably know it's switched, right?
I'm not.
Yeah, I think it identifies is whether or not
He know.
Yeah, see,
I know, I just
but
heard
see,
about
and
it.
you know
I've
what's
heard
so
about
funny? And he's the one that said his phone was up.
he took a moment though before he said.
Now, see, my phone is down, you guys, and I have a reason why my phone is down. My phone is down is because I remember getting in an argument with a girlfriend because one of my ex-girlfriends called me. And me and my ex at the particular time, we had been friends for like 10 years. It was cool.
Yeah.
And she didn't call me every day. She called me every blue moon. And then when she seen it, then she started getting a certain way. And I said, you know what? It just wasn't worth sharing that way. And because whatever was going on between me and her, I guess she didn't feel comfortable with that.
But that's a conversation. So I look at stuff like that as an opportunity to have a conversation because, granted, if y'all got engaged or married and then that happened and now y'all have a whole issue blowed up and that could have been a conversation a long time ago that your ex calls you every blue moon and it just so happened that, because think about it, what if it was the week of y'all's wedding and then she calls and she's like, oh, so you still see it? And he's like, no, this is just the blue moon. This is just the blue moon. And that's what I mean, like to his original question, have a conversation about what's a healthy boundary. And that's always should be something that two adults should be able to talk about. She could say, okay, cool. When you talk to her, I'm cool with it, but I want you to always talk to her in my presence. And not where you like talking to, see, look at her, he don't like that. And
That's beautiful. I'll be sitting there like, calm down. I just met you.
see, that's what I'm saying.
No, but how are you supposed to deal with that when you've been knowing somebody for 10 years, they your real friends, y'all done been through real stuff together, you've been knowing this girl for a year, and y'all really ain't really been through nothing real, but she wants you to do all these things to make her feel good and feel better about the relationship. I think that's where it becomes really, really difficult for me. I'll be like, I just met you. What we doing?
Are you friends with all your exes?
No.
it's just that he got that
No,
one.
it's just it might be 2 or 3 that I'm really cool with. And, but I literally probably had thousands of girlfriends. You know what I mean? I probably had thousands of girlfriends.
And you had no thousands of girlfriends?
I've had quite a few. So I just be trying to be like, why we like what's going on? I don't know. Sometimes when how do you deal with that when you've been through real stuff with somebody? I mean, whether or not, it could be a bankruptcy. It could be like you loaned them money. They loaned you money.
Yeah.
They helped you pay your mortgage.
Yeah.
Like when you've been through real stuff with somebody, but you just met this person 6 months ago and they talking about they uncomfortable. How do you deal with that?
Have those uncomfortable conversations. It's a conversation. Ask her, what makes you uncomfortable? Well, I'm uncomfortable with the fact that you still got this connection with your ex. Why? Well, I mean, because I feel like you still like her. No, I don't.
Right.
Well, but I mean, so why you keep in contact with her? Because we've been through some stuff together. We cool. I know who she's dating. We talk about who I'm dating. There has been nothing. I've never spun the block again. Never. And you can have those conversations about those insecurities. And then you'll probably find out that the woman is triggered because she dealt with some other guy that had this strong relationship with his ex. And he kept cheating on her with the ex or the baby mama or whatever.
Right.
And then you can have that conversation that the other guy wasn't willing to have with her, and you can start healing some trauma. And then she say, you know what? I normally would have been very insecure about this, but the way you've handled me gave me a little bit more trust. And so I'm going to watch it. I hope this doesn't bite me in the butt, but I'm going to be cool with that. So you have to allow that person to grow. A lot of people have different experiences than you may assume, and you may get defensive and say, well, no, this is my homegirl, and I've been knowing her think about how that sounds. I've been knowing her for 10 years, and I just met you 6 months. Then now you just minimized her feelings, you minimized her place in your life, and you literally told her that because you've only known her for 6 months or a year, that she doesn't even have a right to even speak about somebody that you've known for 5 or 6 years. That's gonna exasperate the insecurity.
That's absolutely true. Everything that you said is true, but then sometimes you get certain people where they're really, really stubborn, and that becomes the huge rock or boulder in the relationship. And so then what are you supposed to do?
Then you figure out what's worth it. You figure out, is this a person that I could build with, or somebody that's going to always be a hindrance, that's going to be extremely insecure, challenging every decision I make, challenging every relationship I have, every woman that comes and smiles at me, she comes like, who is that? Then he's like, I don't need that stress in my life. Like, it goes both ways. Whatever you're secure with is the same thing. You got to be able to say, I want to be with somebody that I can build trust with and I can be my authentic self. And if having friendships with people that you've been intimate with is a core value of yours and something that is a non-negotiable, then you got to find that woman that don't care about it. And there's a lot of people that fit whatever it is that you desire.
I love that.
That's it.
If there was 3 qualities, what are the qualities that you won't live without that a woman has to have?
Well, she has to have a strong relationship with God.
Okay.
And so I chose a woman. I just go and just break down the wife that I got. Has to have a strong relationship with God, has to look at my kids as her kids. I have a biological daughter, Laterras, and I adopted my nephew, Ladarian. I adopted a total stranger, my son, Armani. But she looks at my kids as her kids. And she has to be somebody that is willing to have tough conversations. It can't be somebody that shuts down. Like, I couldn't have been with a woman that when we are challenged in situations that they shut me out, walk away from the conversation, and we can't have a conversation. So my wife possesses those things. I like to talk about stuff. And Student of Love is a chapter that says, be comfortable having uncomfortable conversations. That you got to get, as uncomfortable as it is, you have to get, especially if you expect for a marriage to last till death do we part. You got to be willing to have those tough conversations. I've spoken to people who have lost their jobs and couldn't even come home and tell their wives that they'll fake it until they get another job, leaving the house every morning as if they're going to work. And I'm like, how could you not tell your wife that you lost your job? They be like, because she automatically assumed that I'm a loser anyway. She always made me feel like I'm inadequate and all that. So I'm not going to give her another bullet or ammunition to assassinate me with. So they fake it. And I'm like, how are you married to somebody that you can't be authentic like that? I watched a video a couple of days ago by Hope and Cadero. And Hope and Cadero Watson was on the podcast, but it's a video of him praying in the living room because he had just lost his job. And it's a real quick clip that the wife shared. But we all know as men, when you lose the security around finances, that is the most inadequate that a man will feel. But him showing that vulnerability with his wife shows that he has a level of safety with her to be in his most vulnerable state. And so I always say, again, be comfortable having uncomfortable conversations. And so that's what I believe will get you to death do we part.
So you mentioned adopting or fostering your nephew, and you decided
nephew?
Yeah, my nephew.
Okay.
I fostered him and then I adopted him. He's about to graduate next
and
week.
you got 3 Emmy nominations from a documentary. What led you to put that story, out there?
Because I believe that a lot of times, like, I grew up watching Punky Brewster and Different Strokes, and I would see adoption stories like that, not realizing what I'm really, truly watching. But I realized that there's such a power and a sacrifice that a parent can have taking on someone else's child. And I wanted to, my whole mission in life, I believe God put me on this earth to show people hope in whatever situation they're in, whether they've are a foster kid, whether they've aged out of the system, whether it's somebody, I used to do documentaries on people in the homeless community. But my whole vision is to give hope. And so while I was going through this journey of fostering my nephew, I want to document it so that, first of all, I could understand what the heck I had gotten myself into, because I was like, what am I doing? I'm going to these classes. I'm getting licensed as a foster parent. Like, what is this new world that I've gotten into? And I like to document that, as well as show other people, encourage other people that if they've been on the fence, desiring or wanting to adopt, that here's a person going through it in real time so you can see it and be encouraged that you'll decide to take the initiative to be a foster parent. And I've gotten a lot of DMs with people saying, hey, I've watched this has encouraged me. And just to, again, provide hope for people to get out in this world. So I like to use my life as a light to people to encourage them in whatever area that they're in. Same as Dear Future Wifey, give people hope in relationships.
So, can you talk a little bit about your filmmaking background? Because even before you started the podcast, you know, you're a cinematographer, you write scripts, you do all this type of stuff. Like, what led you to pursue that career as a filmmaker?
Start out doing theater. I used to tour shows across the country as a playwright, director, and producer, AD. We talked about that. We was talking about doing a project together. But I would tour shows across the country from the age of 24 on, and churches would hire me to produce their Christmas and Easter productions and stuff like that, even after I stopped touring. And so I've always been fascinated with the arts. Then video cameras got in my hand, and I said, hey, my homeboy Tony Pettifer, who's one of my groomsmen in my wedding, he introduced me to videography. I was the sales team. He was the videographer. I was the sales team. And we would go do deals with school districts and shoot their videos and promo videos and their commercials. And then watching, if I'm around something long enough, I'm going to want to know how to do it. So I was like, hey, teach me this. Teach me what ISO is. Teach me what aperture is. Teach me all this. And started learning it and got bit with the bug. And so I was like, this is extremely fun. And so I did a documentary for DeSoto ISD, a school district in the DFW Metroplex, and I just started shooting content for people, helping other people launch their podcasts, shooting stuff for nonprofit organizations. And then when Dear Future Wifey came along, well, I already had the background of shooting all this stuff. And so I just turned the cameras on me and said, hey, let's go and produce it. And so that's what made a lot of people, when I first started shooting, like, hold on, how your stuff look so professional off the rip? I was like, because I've been doing this for years prior to. And so it's just been a strong passion for me. And in this content age that we're in, I just feel like it's advantageous for us to always put content out there, like you guys are doing, putting content out there, and you'll be able to go back and look at these videos and learn from some things that you've said in earlier episodes or seasons. Like, I remember when I said that. My mind has changed since then. I used to think like this and whatever. I just look at it as an online diary.
Going back to, Dear Future Wifey blowing up, because I wanted to ask this, how did you stay disciplined, wielding the power of the sun with all these women wanting you?
Well, because I didn't want to have a reputation where I'm just out here just messing around with all these different women, and I didn't want to have a bunch of kids running around. I just wanted to stay away from drama. And to be honest with you, I started off the first Dear Future Wife has been around for 6 years. Well, the first 4 years, I was shooting and editing every episode, making every reel. I was doing it all on my own. So I didn't have a lot of time to really be out there dating. I remember I would joke with my wife, and I said, I didn't really get a chance to be out here dating like I thought I wanted to date. I want to be flying women in and flying women. I want to live that life. But God protected me where I didn't do that. And I had some dates and stuff occasionally, but I was never really out there exhausting the power of my influence to be like that. And I'm glad it didn't happen like that, because it was no drama. It was nobody. Once I got engaged, you didn't see a lot of content out there saying, oh, he was messing with me. He did this with me. I didn't have no drama. It was zero drama by that. In one of my episodes, I said, when I announced that I was getting married, I said, I kept my stuff clean. I said, there's no woman out there that can sit there and say that I'm messing with her right now while I'm engaged to some other woman. And I said, I challenge you, post the content. and nothing never happened because I didn't have no stuff like that. I've always led with transparency and honesty. And again, my struggle in my past marriage was operating as a man with integrity. That was my struggle. So I said, now I want to be a man that my yays are yays, my no's are no's. I've been straight up honest with a woman. If I'm dating her, I'll say, hey, listen, date multiple people. This ain't what that is. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. Hey, this ain't what you think. Hey, I ain't your husband. I used to coach women on finding their husband while I was actually dating them or whatnot. So I was just honest. I was extremely honest. And so that's what I would say is that I kept building my relationship with God enough to where I began to be extremely convicted by just operating as the typical man, as they say.
Now, one of your quotes, I don't know if this is your quote, so forgive me if it isn't. It says, divorce is the most painful thing I've ever been through.
Absolutely. That's absolutely. So that is my quote, because I said that I took vows with somebody and those vows were meant till death do we part. Those vows meant I'm gonna be faithful. Those vows meant that I would only be with that one woman until I take my last breath. That it will be for better or for worse, through sickness and health, for richer, for poorer. I took these vows, and then as a man, I didn't honor my vow. Not just to that woman, but to God. Not just to God, but to my family. Not just to my family, but even her father. When I asked him to could I have his blessing to marry his daughter? So the divorce was the most painful thing I ever had to do, is because it was a slight against my word to all these people that I did, and standing on stage and with a pastor making these vows in front of her friends and family and my friends and family. And so I said it was the most painful thing. I think a lot of times we minimize divorce. We make divorce seem like it's a dating relationship that once we call it off, or it's like, oh, I broke up with them. And it's like, no, that's a divorce. Even with you, AD, I always say that I'd rather you take your time and get married once than literally just been married 3, 4, 5 times. You know what I'm saying? It's like, that's the reason why people of your age group may get a lot of criticism, but I'd rather you take your time, get out of your system, whatever needs to get out of your system, and then make that decision once with one person, than have all these broken marriages throughout your life. So
That's right. You're nodding your head.
It's time to get married, dog.
Oh yeah, I told him he sure need to get married. I've been telling AD he need to get married.
Listen, you know, the one thing that Steve Harvey told me that I thought was really pinnacle, he said, when he was always encouraging me to get married. He's like, once you get married, you'll never make that much money ever in your life. He said, because you become more focused, you become laser focused on what you're trying to do in life. I guess he meant by it, because he didn't really explain that part to me, you're not really chasing other things. And when I mean other things, I mean women. He's like, you're more focused on your goal and family and things like that. So I always think about that. But see, I told you the biggest issue, and I don't know what you guys did, but this is probably a good place to talk about it. So we already know you got some money. You got some money. You over there, you doing it. Did you get married with a prenuptial agreement?
I didn't. And I've said that, and she had money. The reality is that I just have a different relationship with money. That's just how I am. I just have a different relationship, and I don't believe everybody should adopt my relationship with money. My relationship with money is that I always say that the most valuable thing I have to offer is me, my heart, my mind. So when I got married, I gave Ashley all of me. Finances, I can build it. You see people, they can make more money, they can lose it and rebuild it, and you see it all the time. So my value system isn't about the money. Again, I believe that everybody should do what is necessary for them. AD, and I also don't have the kind of money that you got either. But the reality is that even if I had the money that you had, my relationship with money will still be the same way. That at the end of the day, it just is what it is. If the marriage goes bad, whatever has to get divvied up gets divvied up. But the reality is that That's my personality with money. I just didn't. I don't look at it like that. But again, it's a real thing. It's a real thing because you and I have talked about it on my podcast. You're like, no, you have to sign a prenup, and that's fine. And it may be fine for your spouse to be able to say, oh, I'm cool. Because a prenup is not saying you don't get anything.
Right.
It's saying that we're going to decide before, quote unquote, anything goes awry, you'll be taken care of in this way. So I don't see anything fundamentally wrong with the prenup. Sometimes people hear that and they look at it from a negative perspective saying, oh, so you just going to, when we get divorced, you just going to throw me out to the curb. And it's like, no, it's not. That's not what it has been. Hopefully that's not what you're saying. But the reality is, hopefully, because people be having some crazy prenups. But it's an agreed upon set of divvying up the finances to say, I'm going to make sure you get X, Y, Z and not that.
So when it comes to prenup, I bet the argument that you've gotten towards having a girl sign a prenup is, oh, so you don't see this marriage till death.
So you're planning a divorce.
Yeah, you're already planning the divorce before we even get married.
And so that's how it feels to be. So I feel that way is that
crazy.
But we don't say that about insurance. We don't say that about the insurance on my car or the insurance on a home.
Yeah,
you know,
sure
like
don't.
my house going to get. So you saying that my house
going to catch on fire?
They say, hey, would you like to protect this house? So we trying to say somebody going to steal my stuff?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's like at the end of the day, but it's just, again, it's matters of the heart that begin to be very complicated. And that's why I say whatever gives you peace of mind and peace of heart is what you have to be true to your core values and know there's no way you're going to get married unless somebody signs a prenup. And that's for you. For me and my wife, we just didn't even have that conversation.
So this is my thing. And I just really, because I already know you speak honestly.
Yeah.
So therefore, we already know you do extremely well. We're not going to even talk about your finances and things like that. But I just want to propose a situation to you. You worth $500 million, $500 million. You meet somebody. Y'all talk about getting married. You get married without a prenup, you worth $500 million. I just really want to hear that. I can't wait to hear this. So do you get married and you worth $500 million, knowing you're jeopardizing $250 million that you didn't spend 20, 30 years to earn all that money. And now you're going to put it on the line for a person that you met 6 months ago.
And that's why I say the vetting process on that level has to be very, very, very extensive. And extensive doesn't mean that it's a time that you got to date. Because you say 6 months, most people be afraid to marry somebody 6 months having $250 million on the line. You know what I'm saying? They'll be like, nah, I got to date you longer or whatever. Or it depends on what age you are. When you get this $500 million, was it, are you in your 20s or 30s or 40s, 50s? You feel like your decision-making process, because a person that can earn that kind of money is very discriminative about how they're choosing. And so that means that they have to be very going through stuff with a fine-tooth comb with whoever they're dating. I would just say, to each his own. I'm saying for me, sounds crazy, I still wouldn't sign a prenup. I wouldn't have. I believe that from a vetting process that I would have vetted properly enough to be able to say, this marriage is going to last forever, or if it don't, I have to be okay with, quote unquote, losing that level of money.
So the thing for me about marriage is that one is two people.
Yep.
And you may feel strongly about your situation, and the other person may be weakening in that situation with you. So that's the thing for me. So therefore, even though your convictions and you're like, nah, this is it, she still could be on the other side.
Yeah.
One, she could be a great actress.
Absolutely.
A great actress.
Because you know why? You live in a city with a lot of them.
Yeah, I know. But the reason why she could be a great, like a magnificent actress is because $250 million
Will make you
is
act.
online.
Yeah, make you act.
It's a bunch of reasons why they need to keep this going. So therefore, even under those kind of conditions, you still get married without a prenuptial agreement.
I would, but I'm saying that from you, there's no way on God's green earth you will ever do it. So you just find somebody that won't, that will sign a prenup. A lot of people sign a prenup. Like a lot of women, I believe, would. Because at the end of the day, if you're, who was that just, that's what happened to, is that what happened to Dak?
Yeah.
Prescott?
Yeah. That's exactly
she
what
want to sign a prenup. Yeah,
and he had 2 or 3 kids by her, and she didn't want to sign it. He was like, "Oh, I'm cool."
Yeah, because he could be taking care of child support alone for the rest of her life. You know what I'm saying? So I just think that because it sounds bad, it sounds like you don't trust me. It sounds like you're preparing for divorce. That's what it sounds like. Again, that's a different level of money that I don't even try to speak on to say if my mind would have shifted. All I know is what I did, and I'm out these dating streets, and we didn't have to sign a prenup, and I'm okay with her getting. I even told her, I said, if anything happened with us, you can take half this house. See, I'm not attached to that type of stuff. It's like you can have it. I'm going to always rebuild. So my mindset is just very optimistic in that way. And again, I pray the Lord that I never have to even see that day. I pray the Lord that we're taking our last breath and she has everything that we built together anyway. So that's just how I feel.
Do you think you can be able to trust anybody now that you already built?
No, he can't. He even said he wished he would have built with somebody.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. So I think when
too
it
late
comes
for you?
Yeah, it's definitely too late for me.
Yeah.
So what it is that I think the thing that makes life really, really tough is when you got stuff.
Yes.
You got all this stuff around you.
Yeah.
You got this stuff and stuff over here. And for whatever reason, we start thinking this stuff is so valuable and we can't live without it. And, you know, if you had $5 and you had to give somebody $5 left in your pocket and you had to give somebody $2.50, you don't feel that great.
Yeah.
And that's ultimately what it comes down to. I think the best thing for marriage is when two people grow it together.
Yes.
And they earn it together.
Yeah.
And you feel a little bit differently about the person that you're sleeping with because you feel like, nah, she was in there fighting, shooting with me in the gym. She was passing me the ball. She helped me get to where I am today. So, but I don't have those stories.
So you feel like you have to meet a woman that can't say equally making money like you, but have you ever dated a woman that was extremely successful financially?
They exist.
Have you dated them? He said they exist.
Nah, you know what it is? I just was having fun. No, I've never really. I mean, I've went on dates with women that have done well, but usually I think so. This is the thing: when you meet women that have done extremely well, they carry a certain attitude with them that they've done well, and so therefore that attitude and that personality doesn't really mesh well with me. So usually that dominant personality that allowed you to achieve all these accolades. I don't really like that personality. I don't like that personality in women that I date.
Yeah,
I just be like, so I like them a little bit more soft and cuddly. And a lot of times women that achieve those kind of things, they're not really
they're operating too much in their masculine energy. Yep.
Yeah.
100%.
How long did you date Ashley before knowing, like, okay, this is going to be my wife?
That's a great question.
Listen, I met her coming to LA doing the podcast at Cali Worship, Erica Campbell and Warren Campbell's church. And that was in 2023. We met November of 2023 and just became platonic friends. In February of 2025, I had a dream about it, and I was like, I got to see if there's more to us than this. Because I would come to LA, we'll go to eat or whatnot, and we'll talk about whoever we're dating at the time, just straight platonic. In 2025, I had a dream, and I was like, I got to see. I'm feeling something for this woman.
Okay.
Called up, and I said, listen. Called up like 6 a.m. I said, listen, I feel like there's something more to us. Will you give me an opportunity to take you out on a date? And I said, this is going to be romantic. It ain't just us friends hanging out, eating dinner. And then she said, okay. I said, when's your earliest availability? She said, March the 18th. I said, bet. I booked the flight right then. I said, I will see you on March the 18th. March the 18th, I flew, but the week before, we started talking even more. I mean, talking every day, multiple times a day. And so the week prior to, I said, you know what? The way I normally date, I date multiple women at one time. And then if God says this is the person, then I'll shut everybody else out. I said, I'm going to try something different this time. For whatever I feel for you, I want to eliminate all distractions. I said, I'm committed to you before the commitment. I told her that. And she was like, oh, okay. I said, you can still date whoever you dating. It don't even matter. You can go on dates, whatever. I said, but I'm going to focus on you. And that's what happened. And so from March the 18th, I literally did not look back, proposed to her on July the 13th, and we got married November the 22nd. So I knew her from when we got married. I had known her for 2 years. I was intentional about her for, what is that, nine months?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Probably then you got married.
So
when did you guys get engaged within that 9 months?
July the 13th.
July the 13th.
July 13th. First date, March the 18th of 2025. Engaged July the 13th, 2025. Married November the 22nd of 2025. And we've been married for 6 months now at the time of recording this. When it becomes the 22nd, it's May the 16th right now, but on the 22nd,
and how's it going?
It's amazing. Like I said, it's that's why I was saying last night, and I'll say this time to time, I'll just be walking around the house and I'll be like, God, I'll joke with her yesterday. I was like, I messed around and married you. I'll joke. I said, I done messed around and married you. I said, we done married. Because we were so cool as friends that us transitioning to marriage just felt so seamless. And I sit back, I'll be like, dang, it's been a year that I've been dating you. You know what I'm saying? But we're married. Like it's like from the time we've been romantic was March the 18th. From March the 18th, and here we are in May. This is the extent of our whole being romantic with each other, but we've already been married for six months. It just feels so strange that it's been so seamless. But my family, we spent Christmas together. Her mom flew to Dallas, and we spent Christmas, and it was just so peaceful. It was just like, when I was married the first time, it has never been a situation where both of our families spent the holiday together. And here it is. In that marriage, I was married for almost 10 years. Here it is. Her, Ashley, and her mom from California. And we were able to spend Christmas, our first Christmas together. And my ex-wife, we all lived in her family, we all lived in the same city and never spent the holiday with each other. And then here it is, somebody lives way in California, our first Christmas we're spending together. And I was sitting there and my family said, we've never seen Laterras this settled, this at peace. I was like, dang, how they used to act? It's like, normally you running around, you doing this or whatever. He said, you just seem very chill. And I was like, this is interesting, but I felt it though. In my vows, I said, I feel settled without settling. And what I meant by that is that I didn't have to go try to find a woman like, well, I really want a woman like this, but I'm gonna go ahead and settle for Ashley. You know what I'm saying? It was never a settling situation. It was some compromising I had to do. I didn't want to initially be dating somebody or being married to somebody and living in 2 different states. But we've been able to work that out. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is the week we're spending in California, in Los Angeles, and so we just make it work. Sometimes she has to come out to LA and may have to spend a week here doing her work and working and doing what she does. And then she'll come back to Dallas where we live. So it's just, we've learned how to work it out in the best way.
Does she have outside kids too?
No, she don't have a kid at all.
Oh, okay.
Yep. Never been married, no kids.
Planning?
That's the goal.
Okay.
That's the goal.
Usually sometimes relationships, when you have them, at least for me in my situation, sometimes there's a big problem that arises. Have you guys had your big problem yet and worked through it? And how was that?
Our biggest problem was just managing what we share publicly on social media. Like when we're doing interviews or whatnot. Like my wife does not like doing interviews. Oh, she couldn't. Oh, she just doesn't like it. So that was a huge adjustment for her to sit in front of people, don't know what questions they're going to ask, and so it was very, very uncomfortable. So we had to navigate that. So it's times where what we had to get to a place was, for me not to commit to an interview without first asking her, do you want to do this interview? Because I used to be like, oh yeah, of course we'll do it. Oh yeah, we'll do it. And it had to be like, Laterras, I don't like doing interviews. And it's like, okay, cool. So now, anytime somebody comes and say, hey, I want to interview y'all for our platform, I say, Ashley, would you like to do this? Like when we did Tamron Hall. Initially at Tamron Hall, when we did that interview, it was supposed to be just me. Then they were like, we would love to have your wife. And will she be there? I said, yeah, she'll be in the audience. And so y'all can ask her a question. I said, but first, let me ask my wife if she's comfortable with y'all asking her a question. I asked my wife. She said, yes, I'll answer one question. Cool. They even told us what question it was. She gets there, they doing makeup. They said, we want to bring you in on the segment. She was just like, so I get there and I'm like, they want to bring in a segment. Like, yeah, we would love to have you there. I was like, how do you feel about that? Luckily, she was okay with it, but it was, now she's on a huge daytime show. Huge, been asked a question the first couple of weeks of us being married. You know what I'm saying? So it was that adjustment to be able to give her grace and space to be able to say when she wants to do an interview and when she don't, and me not take it personally, you know? Because I'd be like, well, dog, I want to show you off to the world. Like, I want you this or whatever. And she like, I don't want all that, you know? But on Dear Future Wifey, she loves that because she can control the conversation. She can ask the questions. She just didn't like being in a line of fire where somebody can just ask her anything. And so we've adjusted well to that.
Whose idea was it for her to join the podcast?
Me. I said, no matter what, who I got married to would have to become the co-host of Dear Future Wifey. Because my audience was on this journey with me, as I said, to discover, uncover, recover love. I felt like the huge moment would be now you get a chance to see me and my wife doing purpose together. And when I say God did his big one, because people are like, she is so perfect. People are saying stuff like, we couldn't even imagine. It's hard for them to even imagine me doing the podcast by myself. Or there was a time where I did it by myself because she is so perfect. She fits in so well. And they love the feminine energy that she brings to the podcast.
Were you worried for a second that your audience might turn on her?
Nah, I had no worry because I have a very healthy platform. And so my audience, it was an episode that I did where it was called The Mystery Bride, where I was it's me by myself. This is after I announced my engagement, but I was just talking about her. And everybody was in the comments saying, we love her already. We can't wait to meet her. She's amazing. And I introduced her to my audience by the impact that she had on my life and my kids' life. And it automatically won the audience over.
You know, something I heard, I don't know if you believe in, that the second marriage is always better than the first marriage.
They always say that. They say that because they say a lot of men have worked out the kinks and had matured to become the husband that is deserving of the wife. A lot of women don't like that because they like, well, dang, he done messed over this one woman or whatever. But it's just a maturation phase. If the person, now, truthfully speaking, 78% of second marriages end in divorce. But I believe that that's only because the person didn't do the work to fix what caused the demise of the first marriage. But if you do your work, absolutely, that statement that you made will absolutely ring true.
Yeah, because I've seen it when my parents are divorced, but my dad's second marriage, I think now they've been together 15, 16
That's
years.
what I'm saying. Yeah. Yeah, because you and then you'll say, I don't want to ever go through this again. And if you do that work, you'll be like, I ain't finna just keep walking away from marriages. I'm gonna stand 10 toes down and fight for it.
When you getting married?
Soon. You know, another thing I wanted to piggyback off a previous conversation, because, you know, working on this podcast, same as you, building the platform, it takes a lot of time and energy. And something that happens to me when dating, I'm like, damn, like, I could be using all this time to be working on this.
Yes.
You know, so it's, you know, I don't know.
Because it takes a lot of work to build.
Yeah.
You're going to either build it single, build married.
What's the... Okay, go. No, go.
No, my last statement is that, you know, I have the time. It's like, damn, okay, I went on this date at 8. I had to prepare at 7. I'm coming back home at 12. Damn, that's 5 hours. I wouldn't say wasted, but that's how you kind of like see it sometimes.
He said wasted.
I get that. What is the optimal age to get married?
I don't believe that there's an optimal age, but I believe that there's some truths in my book, Student of Love, I talk about in the, marrying young and building strong. You just hit on it by saying that had you got with somebody in your younger years and built this, you'll be able to look at her and say, we built this together.
All day.
It's such a beautiful thing to build something together.
Is.
I had Jason Wilson and his wife, Nicole, on the podcast, and he said something that I even quote in the book. Jason Wilson said that when he and his wife got married, he was struggling. I mean, he was working 2 jobs, struggling. And he said that he realized something, that he and his wife got it together. And a lot of times we're trying to find ready-made people, but when you get it together, and that's not just financial, but it can become spiritual, it become relational, the whole maturation phase. So I believe there's power in marrying young, because while your frontal lobe is yet to be fully developed, you become one with that person that is building with you while y'all still trying to figure it out. Y'all ain't got no house. Y'all just trying to figure it all out together. And that's the beauty of it. And y'all able to look back when I talked to Deval and Kadeem and how they were struggling. He just got out the NFL. He was struggling financially, had a little small apartment in New York. And I was watching a video where they went back to visit their humble beginnings, living in this beautiful house in Atlanta, big old huge mansion. Now she has a show with Divorced Sisters with Tyler. He made a bunch of money doing his show, got 2 shows with Tyler. So they watched each other go from the small little apartment with these kids building to this beautiful house, and now they're both living their dreams.
That's dope.
They able to go look back and say that, like, y'all remember when we had this? You remember when I mean, they had some funny stories that they shared on the podcast about how they were struggling together and have something together. So I believe there's power in marrying young, but I don't believe that there's an ideal age, because everybody has their own unique journey.
Okay. So now there's these new concepts about relationships, open marriages, people having more than one wife and these kind of things. How do you feel about that?
Everything I would say is always going to be rooted biblically. I just believe that the more that we keep entertaining this type of stuff, the more that we go into hell in a handbasket, basically. At the end of the day, because we can always create whatever we want to try to fix. And it's funny when I actually talk to people who are in polyamorous relationship, or they still got problems. Like, I'll talk to them and I'll be like, okay, now listen. Y'all have an understanding where you can have another girlfriend or multiple girlfriends, they can have different men. It seems like that would be easy, since most marriages end due to, infidelity. And then they'll end up saying, no, we're supposed to communicate who we're sleeping with, but then my husband or my wife done went and found somebody that they didn't tell me about, and they cheated on me. I said, how you cheat in a polyamorous relationship? And it's like, because you're supposed to at least talk to the person and tell them, introduce that person to them. It's like people will always find a way to mess up something. So at the end of the day, I always go right back to the basis and say, all right, let one man be with one woman and make that work. Because it just gets, even in these dating relationships that we've all been in, where you're dating multiple people. My brother just said that he go and spend time, get dressed, get ready to go on a date, come back at midnight and be like, did I just waste my time, so to speak? It's so much energy that we're giving to multiple people that I'd rather just put all of that into one person and build with that one person. I don't want to deal with 7 cycles a month. I don't want to go deal with it.
I heard that.
I don't want to deal with all those multiple personalities and energy, and this person not getting them enough time. I done did something for this one woman, and the other woman jealous because she said I like this woman better, and I got 2 or 3 women. Listen, I just want peace. I don't know how people are able to do it. Maybe I need to interview somebody that's in a polyamorous relationship, but it just seems like too much energy for me. I'm happy with my one.
I couldn't do it, but I would be open to a one-sided monogamy.
What side are you on?
He said,
I'm not on the monogamous side. And when we're in the same state, definitely you don't go out on dates. But let's say I'm on the road,
Yeah.
I don't have to spend that much energy. It's like, okay, I'm going out.
I'm going out.
He said his woman can't have no multiple dudes. but he can't.
Listen, that I understand.
He said one-sided monogamy.
But
And you can find that. You can actually find that because there's women that go for it.
Yeah. I like what you said, though. Dealing with all those multiple personalities, that would drive me crazy.
It's too much.
Yeah, because, one of them be tough. You add a bunch of them, I don't know.
You got all these different women that you got to deal with, all these birthdays and all these holidays. And do I spend Christmas with you? Do I just bring all three of these women to the family reunion and my family looking like, there go the terrace again with all these women? Like, what? I don't need it. I'm happy. I'm at peace.
Now, you've had a lot of celebrities come onto your show, like Kirk Franklin. How was that conversation?
Kirk ain't never been on my show. His wife has been on the show.
His wife was on the show.
Yeah,
they got
Tammy.
me.
Yeah, Tammy has been on the podcast when she did. It was a panel that we had or whatnot. But yeah, like what I found out, I love when I talk to celebrities that are very transparent and open and vulnerable. Those that are going to strip themselves from the title of celebrity and just say, I'm just a person trying to figure out this love thing together. And when they are able to share that, that's what makes the best conversation. Like when I had Crystal Renee on the podcast, or I've had Deval and Kadeem on the podcast, and they talk about the struggles that they've had in marriage. Dear Future Wifey is a testimonial podcast where it only works if people are transparent. If you are trying to PR yourself through an interview, it's not going to work. I just need you to be transparent, vulnerable, and share with our audience how you overcame some of the things that you felt like you couldn't overcome. What if you're single, as a single person, what are your insecurities? And you may be famous, you may not be, but how are you overcoming the desire to be married? Or even if you don't, I have had single people on the podcast to say, I don't even believe in marriage and I'll never get married. Let's have those conversations. Why? I just want people to show up as their authentic self so we can have real conversations so that we can be on this journey of healing together.
No, I like that. You also had Tisha Campbell?
Nope. I ain't had Tisha Campbell.
God damn.
You naming people that I've had in my plays.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I mean,
the Tisha Campbell.
The internet sometimes takes us in 1,000 different directions.
Yeah, she was in one of my plays. She was in my plays by any means necessary.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
How did she end up in your play?
Man, I've always wanted to work with Tisha Campbell. Tisha Campbell is a GOAT. And so when I did my play, By Any Means Necessary, had Tisha Campbell, Shantae Moore, Guy Torrey, Dave Hollister, Chico Beneman, Shar Jackson. And so when I was doing my national plays, I would be like, who would be the best person for this role, and who could take it beyond what I wrote and bring some stuff into it that I didn't write on the page. And Tisha is one of them people. Like, Tisha is going to take a script and bring something to it that you can't even imagine. And so we were able to tour that show, and it was a huge success.
And you stopped doing plays?
Yeah, because when the economy got bad, everything, you got to think about it. When the economy got real bad, where unemployment was at 10%, I think that was in 2010 or something, but unemployment was at 10%, gas prices were skyrocketing. Well, when people was filling it at the pump in their car, just think about how much it costs to fill up tour buses. So where originally it would be like $200 to $300 to do a tour bus, it started hitting the $600-700. Then when the baggage fees, it used to be where it didn't cost to take a bag. You could take 1 or 2 bags for free. Then when that happened, airlines started charging $25 for the first bag, $35 or whatever it was. Now we had to pay for the cast we're traveling with 30 people. Now we got to pay 30 times $55 if they're having 2 bags, times that on every flight that we got on.
Gotcha.
So it was like, it just changed everything, and just began to be where either we push that cost to the consumer, where tickets used to be like anywhere from $32.50 to $42.50, depending on the days of the week that we're doing the play. Now you're going to start charging people $70 and $80. You know what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
So it was hard. So I just took a break. But I'll do something in the future.
Now, talking about the now, you have a book out, Student of Love. What led you to write that book?
Student of Love, I looked at Dear Future Wifey as a classroom discussion, and Student of Love is a textbook that accompanies the podcast. And so I share stories that I've had with guests on the podcast, put in the book, and then I even got deeper into my own love journey, stuff that I've never shared on the podcast. But I wanted people to have a tangible book, paper, words that they could read and begin to become better. And Student of Love isn't just about romantic relationships, but it's about how to become a student of love, how to become better in just loving mankind, how to become a better brother to your fellow brother, how to become a better son, a better father, but just to we sit at the feet of love and just glean insights from her so that we can just become better all the way around. And so that's why I wrote Student of Love.
How long did it take you to write?
Man, it took about a year and a half. The whole process took over 2 years. That's getting a literary agent. Shout out to Jan Miller. And then shopping the book. Shout out to W Publishing. I got with an amazing publisher that literally said, we want you to be the youest, she said, the youest of you, saying that we don't want you trying to code switch, you know, because at first I want to try to write it and be more white, quote unquote. And the publisher was like, no, we signed you because we know that your voice is necessary for this culture. So be you. And so that's very, very cool. And I want to give them a shout out because it allowed me to really show up authentic the way that I even share in my book. I want people to learn how to become their authentic selves so that when they get in relationships, that people are getting them for their authentic self. I talk about in my book, don't convince people that you're in a monogamous relationship when you really want to live a polyamory relationship, you know? So say it up front, you know? If you say that you don't believe in monogamy, say that. Attract your tribe. Whatever that is, be whoever you are. If you love hugging trees, you can find a group of people that love hugging trees. Whatever it is, find out who you are so you can be authentically who you are so that when you meet the person that you're supposed to meet, then they are falling in love with the true version of who you are.
So lately, I'm not sure if you've noticed on the internet, there's a young lady by the name of Cheyenne Bryant. And she's supposed to be, I don't know exactly everything, but either she's a therapist, supposed to be a therapist, have a degree, doesn't have a degree. Do you know anything about that situation?
Well, yeah, she just did my podcast last week.
Oh, shoot. So then you really know. What's going?
She's been on my podcast twice. She just did it.
Is she a therapist?
She says she's not a licensed therapist. So in order to be a therapist, you have to be licensed. So She admitted and said she's not licensed. The conflict is they're arguing about whether or not she's a doctor because she hasn't been able to produce her dissertation or produce her doctor's degree. And so that's been the conflict. But I always try to stay out of other people's business and speak on them because, like I said, Dear Future Wifey is all about me talking about myself. And so whatever journey she has to go through in order for her to, whether she produces the documents or not, then that's her journey.
Okay. Okay. I didn't even know she was on your podcast.
She's on there twice. That's my homegirl.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we have a mutual friend, Sarah.
Shout out to Sarah. Just got
Sarah,
married.
she just got married.
Yeah.
And I guess they kind of on her a little bit because I guess, you know, they said she got married in 6 days.
Yep.
She beat you.
Oh, she beat me. She beat me real fast. And that's the thing about it. But they've been knowing each other. That's what I'm saying. It's like,
no, they was friends.
Yeah.
And I told her that's your guy.
there it is then. You see what I'm saying?
I said, that's your guy right there.
Why'd you say that? Why'd you feel like he was?
Because I felt like they was real friends. And I think that relationships should be rooted in friendship.
Absolutely.
Me personally.
That's what my book
Because
talks
I
about.
think if that's your real friend and you really care about your friend, you ain't gonna do them wrong.
And what I love about them is that they were so brutally honest with each other and they're getting to know each other and all that type of relationship is what's going to work. It's going to work. Brock is just who he is.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And so I said that at the end of the day, because I was blessed to go to their wedding, but to just know that they are authentically who they are, you can't surprise her with anything about Brock and vice versa. They were friends with each other and they told each other so much stuff. So that's the reason why they were able to jump and be like, all right, either we're going to do this or no. You know what I'm saying? It's just, and that's what marriage becomes that. Either we're going to just keep on stalling this out, being friends or dating each other for 10 or 12 years, or we just going to say, let's go ahead and do this together. And when you got a made up mind, that's what actually happens. And he was made up about her and she was made up about them and him. And the guy that she was entertaining right before him, she was like, well, I ain't gonna say before, wow him. And he was like, he was like, listen, leave him alone and be with me. She's like, well, he's marriage minded. Well, leave him alone and be with me. 6 days later, he put his money where his mouth is. So I can't do nothing but respect that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But they got engaged in 8 days, right?
No, they got married.
No, they got married. She just didn't say it. I knew that they were already married.
Oh, so the wedding, it was just a...
There was,
It was a celebration.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, they were married.
That's crazy.
They went straight to the courthouse, got married.
I was trying to figure out, did they figure out the prenuptial in 6 days?
That's all they care about. That's all they care about.
I was like, how'd they figure that all out in 6 days?
That's all AD care about.
But no, I think they are a great couple, and I think they found each other, and I think it's gonna work out for both of them.
It is. It is because they real with each other. They're authentic. They have friends. They built a friendship with each other. And when you build something with your best friend like that, then it's like, why you gonna leave?
Right. No, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I'm definitely happy for them, for sure.
Any final advice you can give AD so he can,
AD, we both in this situation.
I have more time.
No, there is no time. There is no time.
How old are you?
31.
Oh,
there is no time.
There's no time?
There's no time.
I want to, I'll be honest, like, I feel the same way. I don't want to wait until having stuff, like, a lot of stuff, and then, like,
you're about to have a bunch of stuff.
And I don't want somebody showing up. But that's the other thing that kind of fucks with my mind. It's like, damn, like, you want to treat these women really nice. You want to, show them mirage. So you want to get more stuff before you really go out there and give your best.
Why?
I think that's the illusion.
That's the illusion. That's what I'm saying. Why?
I think that's the illusion.
Because they ain't working for AD.
Yeah.
He can take, it's nothing he can't do for a woman. And he still ain't married. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, we've been brainwashed to think that because we grew up watching rap videos, and so you see the guys with the chains and all that, and all that does is just get you more women. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't mean you're gonna get a quality woman.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, if we're honest, the woman that we want is the woman that will be with us if we didn't have all this stuff. That's period. So AD can get, there ain't a woman he can't get because he got the stuff. But what really will speak to him, in his mind, he's going to say, but would she want me if I didn't have anything? Because that's the vow he's going to take for richer or for poor. In his mind, he can never, perceive ever being poor, but he wants a woman that would be with him still if he had nothing.
That's absolutely true. And I don't know if they would all be there if I didn't have some stuff.
Facts.
No, that's really true.
I'm not sure either.
Yeah. I'll be like, ugh.
Has a woman ever covered a bill for you? Like, even like, let's say, I have an example. I went on a date. I covered the meal. I covered the movie ticket too. And then like she wanted some snacks, and I offered to pay. She's like, no. Like she insisted. Even like I tried to pay like 2 or 3 times, and she insisted. Has that happened to you?
I don't think. See, I come from the perspective that if women have wallets, I ain't never seen one. I think I gotta buy them the wallet to know that they actually have one. Because I ain't seen it. I be like, where's the wallet at?
He said I had to buy them the bag to know that they had a bag.
Absolutely. Because I ain't seen it. I ain't never seen one of them offer nothing. Nothing.
Even back in the day?
Huh?
Before you had all your stuff? Say in your 20s.
No.
Really?
No, I live in L.A. I live in LA, you guys. It's pay to play. And that's me being completely honest. But then it could be maybe I'm finding them in not the appropriate places.
I think so.
I think that's what it is. Maybe my strategy of finding that particular person is flawed in such a way I'm not able to find that quality person. So you know what? And I'm glad you showed up today. I need to reevaluate my vetting process.
Yep. You probably like a certain type of woman, and that certain type is the one that you gotta pay to play because you like that, the aesthetics of whatever that is. Because I bet you if I just put all the women like a lineup, just got a picture like we the FBI and just put them all out, I bet there's a certain type, it's a certain aesthetic that they all have.
Yeah, it is.
They're all considered what? Baddies? Every last one of them? You never just dated like what
you know what's
me
so
and him
funny?
say average?
I'm so glad. Listen, let me tell you something. I have this family that I'm really, really close with, the Deutschmans. And really, really good guy. He's more like a mentor to me, older guy. And I remember I told myself, I said, you know what? I'm gonna date a girl, like a regular girl, like that just work at like
a school teacher or something. Just somebody just a good,
not even a school teacher, not even that good of a job. She work at like one of these shopping malls. She worked inside the shopping mall. So I found a girl that was like that. What she didn't, and aesthetically, she didn't have all the stuff that I usually would see in a girl that I would date.
Yeah.
And you know what? The people that see me every single day, that I grew up with, that I would introduce women to, and all that stuff, they was like, it don't seem like that's your girl. That's what they told me. They was like, I don't know about her. It's something about her. But it's just that I think that they were used to me dating a certain kind of girl.
Exactly.
And she didn't have those same things. And I end up breaking up with that girl because I felt like in my mind that I needed those things to validate everything I was doing in life. And I think I was definitely wrong. I really want to go out.
How'd you feel about her?
Huh?
How'd you feel about her?
I didn't feel that great, but I was literally, it was more, and this is sad, and I don't think people should do this. It was more of a social experiment for me. Like, can I date the girl that, works at, Nordstrom's?
Yeah.
She works at Nordstrom's and she goes to work every single day. And, she's
So when you say you feel great about her, what? Was it just because of you're comparing what you're used to, or was it something flawed about her? Was she a good woman?
She was a good person, and she was a good woman, and she didn't have all the frills and thrills as the other girls I dated in the past. And I kept thinking like, I was always like, when I was like, am I supposed to be here? Like I think, what's so funny? I think of it like this, and this sounds really, really ridiculous. Okay, but I had a Rolls Royce. I had two of them, right?
You talking about when you was dating her?
No. This is a whole nother subject. So I had a Rolls Royce, and I felt when I decided to turn in my Rolls Royce, I questioned whether, like, I felt different, and I was like, something's wrong with me. Something, like, I felt like I shouldn't give up my Rolls Royce because it was now putting me in a certain status I didn't feel comfortable in. Like, it put me in a certain place. Like, I felt like I needed that Rolls Royce.
Yes.
Do you see the women you date as trophies you show off to your friends?
Yep.
I think that's true.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's like, look what I did.
Yeah, because he said if the people he knew was like, that don't look like you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, men, that's what we have to be careful about, is that we'll get with a woman typically because we want other dudes to want our woman. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, if that's the baseline, then that means you're missing the whole thing about wanting her because you want her and she wants you, instead of saying, because it ain't worked. I always look at people like this, including myself. How has that worked out for you? Like, however you've been living your life, how's that worked out for you?
I'm still single, so it ain't
Exactly. So
it hasn't been great.
That means that the way you are structuring your picker is just off. It's good to just have a woman, have her for a couple of months, couple of weeks, couple of days, whatever that lifespan is with that woman that you're dating. But when you say you want a marriage, you want to be married, you have to date different. You have to think. So in the book Student of Love, I have a whole chart that has people line. I break down on teaching people how to list out their core values, and then you date based on your core value. And when you look at a core value, typically it's not like you'll hear women on social media where it goes viral. I need a man that's 6'5". That's not a core value. They say that that's a preference, but it'd be different if you saw most guys that are 6'5" are known to have more lasting marriages. Like there's no statistic like that.
Right.
So that means you just want it from a preference, and then you'll talk to people and you'll find Chanel and Dother, who are on my podcast. She's a taller woman. He's shorter than she is, but she typically. What she said, she has got out of a bad relationship. She said, I just want a man that's going to love me and honor me. That don't have a height requirement to it. It didn't have none of that. And so when she met Dother was able to date her. He was shorter than she is. He was able to date her based on core values, and she fell in love with this man, and they are rocking together. You know what I'm saying? And so that's why I say a lot of times as men, we be like, oh, she got to be like this, and I want doozy, I want a 10, I want this. And then it's like, then you get with them, and look how many you had. Like you say, I've had thousands of women. That may be an exaggeration. That may be the truth.
It's a bit of an exaggeration, of course.
But you have had some hundreds.
And
so the reality, of course.
Depending how you look at it.
Yeah, depending how you look at it.
What you mean?
Because let's say you're an NBA player.
Yep.
If you've been in 1 or 2 teams, that's good. If you've been traded to 10 to 15 teams, you know.
That's hilarious. That is so funny.
He got traded to 10 to 15 teams. Yeah. But that's reality. And so I just want to encourage you and both of y'all, to prioritize marriage like you prioritize anything else in your life. If you could prioritize the desire of marriage like you did DHERBS, like because you know how to build a company.
Right.
You just know it. You can do it in your sleep. We had a conversation coming here today, and you like, oh, I could do that. Give me 2 weeks. Like,
right.
You're so confident in doing that. If you use the same strategy, the same level of discernment to say, I'm going to prioritize my heart in this way and say, this is what I want and this is what I'm going to go after, I'm telling you, you'll be able to choose wisely, be in a happy, thriving marriage within a year. Period. But you got to look at, if you think about it, you told me out of your own mouth, in 2 weeks, I can launch you a whole business.
Right.
In 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Most people be like, oh, that's impossible. Like, you could talk to the average person and they will all say, that is impossible. That's crazy talk. And you like,
right.
Yes, I can. That's easy for me.
Yeah.
And I look at the same way about relationships. I look at it as, yes, when it comes to being able to, like you said, it's 2 people in a relationship. You can't predict a person marrying you and then changing the minute you said I do, 6 months later say I want a divorce. And you be like, why? I just don't want to be married no more. Like, you can't predict that.
Right.
But I can discern from a core value standpoint based upon how that person thinks, how that person treats you, their lived experience, how they've been operating, how they've been in long-term relationships in the past, how they even view relationships, how they view marriage, how they even view themselves, how they view kids, how they view finances. You can start finding that out. And I talk about that in Student of Love so that when you are dating somebody, you go, oh, this works, not by outside opinion, but what speaks to your heart and your mind and go, oh, I like this person. And that's my question to you is like, have you had anybody that you felt like was the one?
Yeah.
And then what happened?
Was it you? Be honest.
No, I just felt.
Did you cheat on her?
Yeah.
No, I'm just saying, I think I prioritize my career more. I'm like, I'm here, and I guess I didn't give her the attention, she wanted.
But you felt like she was the one?
There were certain moments, but then at the end of the relationship, like, we lived together. You know, at a certain point, I'm like, I want to do it on my own. You know?
Wow. So you want to leave her to go do life on your own, but you felt like she was the one.
At certain moments, you question them too. It wasn't like when I left, I'm like, oh, she's the one. But there were moments that she could be the one.
But then, you chose career over her.
Yeah.
Do you regret it?
Haven't because I'm not sure I would be in the position I am today if I was still with her too.
Why not?
Because another thing, like, because she did not enjoy the public persona I was trying to create too, and being in front of the camera and, you know, yada yada and other stuff. Even before I started this podcast, I've acted in a couple stuff. Like, she saw me as simply, you're behind the camera filmmaker. But I also knew, especially in this day and age, you have to do everything and be in front of the camera because that actually helps more too.
Absolutely.
You know, like Scorsese being in front of the camera in his movies, he did it on purpose. Even though it's a cameo, it becomes with face recognition.
That part.
And she wasn't too comfortable with that.
Dang. So you just felt like y'all weren't aligned.
Yeah.
With where you felt like God was going to take you. And you said from a career standpoint, I see where I'm going, and she just couldn't go with me.
Yeah. And maybe I'm a little friendly to other women too, but not enough.
That's the truth. AD sitting there talking about, is he going to tell the truth?
Yeah, about time. I was sitting here waiting. Y'all was like, what we doing?
He said too friendly.
Yeah.
He talking about I chose career. No, you chose these women.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, boy.
Man. No, I think, the one. I think I've probably met the one maybe 3 times. I don't know if we'll see if we meet the one again.
Well, is those ones still available?
Maybe 2 of them.
Would you ever spin the block?
No, once I break up, I'll be like, it's over.
Why?
Huh?
Why? If they still single,
Because
and
you know what? Sometimes you try to go back and then they say something. You be like, that's why I left you. It was that right there. It be the one comment they just run to it. They can't get there fast enough. I'll be like, I'm out. Spin the block. Usually, I think sometimes we fantasize that, that could have been her. But I think technically when it's over, it's probably just over. It's okay. It's okay for it to be over.
Which is true, which is 100% true. But I always say that as you continue to date, and when you want to get married, you're going to have to operate in a level of grace and forgiveness to let that one comment be forgiven. You know, that's just what it is. You know, and be able to say, you know what, I'm rocking with this person, and because people are not going to do everything that you want them to do. It's just. But I love talking, man. I had the Griffins on my podcast. They were married for almost over 40, 50 years or something. Like, when I talk to people that's been married that many years, it's so much grace that is necessary. Like, it's just beautiful. So that's what I get encouragement from, is to know that in order to get what it is that we truly and ultimately desire from another human being, it takes grace. Because marriage ain't gonna work without it. And so the thing about it, and I do know this, the longer you stay single, because I even started feeling that myself, that the level, the grace quotient is diminished. Because think about it, you'd be like, I ain't gotta deal with you. Like you just don't. You be like, man. You know, Beyonce had the song, I Can Find Another You in a Minute. Matter of fact, he'll be here in a minute. And she's a woman saying that.
Right.
So it's like, as a man, we can get so inundated with that ideology saying, oh, I ain't got to deal with this. And then you go get somebody else. And then you'll go tell them the same thing when they do something wrong. I ain't got to deal with this. And then you go find somebody else. And I ain't got to deal with this. And you'll find something like, hold on, maybe I do have to deal with this. If everybody I deal with, I say I don't have to deal with it, the difference between those relationships and marriage is that you do have to deal with it, period. And that's the problem, is that you get so used to being single that you don't have no stand power. I had Judge Lynn Toler on, and she said, after losing her husband, she said, one thing that this generation lacks is stick-to-itness. Just don't stick to nothing. They just don't. They'll quit. They'll work at a job. It gets hard. They'll quit. They work on this. They quit. Back in the day, people will work in their jobs 30, 40 years. You know, been working at the post office, they first job, they left. Now they'll get a job, something better come along, I'm gonna quit. You know, I had this homegirl that was saying, man, if I get hired at this job, man, this is my dream job. She got the job. She was getting the salary that she wanted. It was amazing. 2 months later, I talked to her. I said, how's the job going? I mean, it's going great or whatever, but I just put my application, put my resume in for this other job. They're going to pay me more. I said, but you just said that the other job was your dream job. Right. They're like, yeah, but this other job is going to pay me. I said, you just said that 2 months ago. She was so quick to now want to go. And then she left to go to a whole nother job. But if something better comes along, they'll go leave and jump. And that's what, I just never want to be that type of person. I want to be a person where I say, you know what, I made my decision. I'm with you. I've been through divorce before. And I'm like, no, it's gonna work. We're gonna ride this thing till the wheels fall off. So I know that as you've been single for so long, and single being unwed, that's a challenge you're gonna have to overcome.
That's difficult because that's exactly what it is. Any kind of friction, I'll be like, oh, okay, I'm cool. I swear to God, I'll be like, oh, no, it's okay. It's fine.
No, we good. We good.
Yeah, no, we good. We Gucci. My move on game is crazy. It's crazy.
I call it quiet quitting. You know, you ain't quitting. They don't even know.
I'll be like, okay, it's okay. To me, it's always okay. I'm like, no, it's fine.
Has it ever been a person you've dealt with in the recent years to where your heart got entangled, where it was hard for you to walk away?
Yeah.
Okay, so you ain't a savage out there. You can get your heart involved.
Yeah, I think we all can, but
we all should be able to. We all don't. A lot of people be like, they don't give that access to their heart like that. So they just be like, it just be walls. They can be with you for 2, 3, 4 years.
Like I said,
you never have access.
I think the problem with marriage is IG. They get rid of IG, more people will get married. They get rid of Instagram, more people will be married. They got to get rid of that thing.
You heard Kanye saying, like, that's not your girl. Instagram got your bitch.
That's what he said in the song?
No, he said it in an interview with Big Boy. He's like, she'll post it on the gram before she show you.
Listen, I lived it. That is true. That is true.
He said that's not your girl. It's the girl.
It's Instagram.
That's Instagram's girl.
That's crazy. That's a crazy concept right there.
That is funny. But that's what, so even when you talk about Instagram, I remember during my dating season, it did feel like that. It felt like, because I literally was going through a problem. This happened for 3 or 4 months. I would meet a girl on Instagram, like literally we chatting with each other. I'm like, dang, she cool. I like her. Somebody else would DM me. I literally physically forget that the other person existed, like in 24 hours. I was like, who was I talking to the other day? I said, this is bad. I said, this is getting bad. I said, I'm literally forgetting people that I thought I liked. Like I was interested. I was like, yeah, this is kind of cool. I want to, next time, and I'll be sitting there like, I hope they DM me like today because I forgot who they were. I said,
hilarious.
That is bad. I said, it started getting bad. So I understand exactly what you're talking about, but that's the reason why you have to be aware of it and then fight against it from your mind. You got to be intentional. You got to be like, all right, I've been single for all these years. I want to get married. What can I do to unlearn some things that I began to be patterns? Because basically what it is a pattern. Like it's a pattern that we've fallen into to be able to switch women out and be like, I don't have to deal with anything. But then you got to stop and go, why do I want marriage? And what do I believe marriage has to offer me? If you can't answer that question, you're never going to get married.
How do you feel about these dating sites?
Those dating sites, I've never got a chance to be on them. I believe that there's advantages and disadvantages. It's advantages because you get to open up your pool to more people. The disadvantage is if you're on it for the wrong reason, it just gives you an endless supply of just just running through women. You know what I'm saying? You just be like, today and tomorrow it's like a dream for a man. You know what I'm saying? You be like, I can smash women from coast to coast on these apps for the rest of my life. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? That's what it would be. But if you're intentional about, look at him, you be on dating sites.
I've done it, and I every time I've been on it, it's always been for the wrong reason.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. It's gonna be the wrong reason.
Yeah, I would never get on a dating site.
It's you wouldn't do one of those high profile ones or whatever.
It's so okay.
The problem with dating apps for me is, number one, you don't want that to be your story. It's like, how you met? Oh, we met through an app. Secondly,
I don't think that's a bad story.
Some people have that story.
Well, me personally, I don't like it.
He said he don't want his story on that.
I don't want that story.
You want a story what you met face to face?
Yeah, face to face is always better.
We're walking in the supermarket and my basket hit their basket.
Right, there you go.
And then you're always in your head, it's like, damn, like, okay, so this is our first date and this is what I got to do.
It's hilarious. This is what I got to do. It's so funny. Oh my goodness gracious!
And you can't.
I cannot undo it. I cannot undo it.
You can't undo that thought.
Yeah.
He's talking about all the other men got the same thing.
Even when you hook up girls in the bar, like it's like you start thinking, "Am I special?" Or like how many other brothers have been through this gate?
Damn, that's tough. The one thing that you just mentioned, you was like any high profile. So Millionaire Matchmaker, I went on a few dates on that thing.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You talking about the TV show? Or with her?
I think it was associated with the TV show, but it was in the background.
Oh.
So I guess they had, they asked me would I date older women, and I went on a few dates.
With older women?
Yeah, I dated a woman she was 65 years old. She made all the shoes for Forever 21.
Dang.
She made she was like from Italy and stuff like that. It was interesting. I went on like maybe about 4 or 5 dates with her. But it was
But see, I don't think you'll ever be serious with a woman older because you want kids, right?
No, I definitely wanted kids. But you know what it is? I kept thinking to myself, I was open to dating younger. Why shouldn't I at least
open for older?
Yeah, so older. So I went on a couple of dates. It was different. The woman was having a hard time processing it. And she was just like, basically she was just saying that a lot of men was dating her for her money.
And you told her, I don't need your money.
I told her I was rich. I was like, what are we talking about? I'm rich.
So that was so different for her then, huh? To date a man that didn't need her money?
Yeah, I think that was different for her. So then that's when, I don't know. Then that's when I kind of soured on that. I was like, what am I doing? But so I end up walking away from those situations. But yeah, but I just wanted to prove if I could date younger, I could date older.
Would you date? So that wasn't a social experiment either.
That was definitely a social experiment. I was trying to I was like, let me see what's going on over here. And she was in shape and she was nice looking too. She was in shape. She was from Italy. I was just like, I'm tripping.
Would you try? I mean, but so would you? Are you still open, seriously, to dating a woman that's older?
No, not no more. The reason why I'm not open is because I really want kids. Yeah. So therefore, once it starts becoming a little bit more difficult, and then, and I didn't say this, lady, so do not attack me. They say after 33, the eggs are downgraded from there. So that's just the doctor saying that, not me personally.
You can adopt.
So,
You can adopt.
It's different than like you always want a kid with your stuff in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just usually at least one. I'm especially speaking to you about the wonderful things that you talked about adopting. I think that's dope, but I think I should definitely have one.
Absolutely.
Yeah, with my DNA.
Absolutely, you deserve it, and and that's why I said be intentional. Like you don't want your first child to be your grandchild.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, it's like at the end of the day, just be intentional. That's why I want to encourage you to be like you are with DHERBS and do that with your dating life, and you gonna 10x it.
Okay, that's my goal. And then, do you have any great advice for Alejandro?
Alejandro seemed like he just he said, have you recalibrated your career? Because I know you said that you're very career focused. You walked away from a relationship from prioritizing career. Have you?
No, not recalibrated at all.
You still want to focus on career?
Yeah, maybe in a year or two. But I do want to get married before I'm 40. Maybe even before I'm 35. And
so
start
you're
having
31
a family.
now.
31. So the next few years, maybe one more year of fully going in.
So let me ask you this real quick, because a lot of men say that. Why do you think career is so important over marriage? And why do you feel like you can't have both?
I think I can have both, but it's just like you only are allowed 24 hours in a day.
Mm-hmm.
And essentially you have to sleep, you got to work, and then you only have so much time. The way I kind of scale of like the things I want to do, and there's a very small time for leisure. And I don't know if I can, provide somebody the right amount of time that it's adequate to date somebody. But at the same time, if she shows up in my life, she shows up. But I'm not looking for her.
But I think it's more intentional. Like when you look at, like, we say adequate time to date. You still date women, right? You go out with women, what, once a week?
Not once a week. Like, maybe once or twice a month. Something.
Once or twice a month. And you're saying that the time that you spend on your career, if you started dating somebody, you have to take time away from your career.
Yeah.
What if you dated a woman that helped? Like the Bible says that 2 hands are better than one. And it says that 2 are better than one because if one person falls down, another person can lift them up. If you married the right person or start dating the right person, have you ever thought that they could help you get there faster?
Yes.
So,
I've thought about it. Somebody that, within the same, I wouldn't say they have to have the same career as me, but I also thought that, like what Steve Harvey told you, like once you get married, you can actually, like House of Cards, but not in the freaky way they had the relationship.
Yeah.
That you can scale up quicker with somebody.
So why don't you? So that's what I mean by when we see those examples, we'll tell ourselves that I'm single, I'm gonna focus on career. When we know that if you got married to the right person, you're going to get there faster. It's proven. Like it's so proven on it just by theory alone. Y'all have a podcast where it's both of y'all. It's easier to do something with 2 people than it is with one person. I remember when I was doing my podcast by myself, they was like, why don't you just do a solo podcast? I said, there's no way I'm gonna want to do that. I don't want to talk to myself every day. That's just boring to me. I want to be able to talk to other people. So I had a guest, and you can Google it. I remember when I was about to launch my podcast, I said, what do I want? A single host-led podcast or a podcast where y'all co-host? Co-host podcast does exceptionally far more better than a single host-led podcast. Go Google it. And so if we're talking about from a podcast standpoint, as a co-host situation performs better, then what do you think happens in the marriage? At the end of the day, while you are out there killing the food, your woman is at home cooking the food. Your woman can be at home, LA is an expensive market. Now you got 2 incomes taking care of the household. Y'all have kids, you can go out and do XYZ. She can take care of the kids. You can go out, she can go out and go do what she got to do, and you at home taking the kids. You got a built-in partner that is able to help you do life more efficiently, easier, and more peacefully. What happens is that most people use those examples and they say, well, if you marry the wrong person, then now you're stressed out. You ain't got no time to do your job. You ain't got time to do nothing, because we look at choosing somebody that's inadequate. But if you choose the right person, even in the dating process, and they're understandable, they'll be able to say, oh yeah, you say, hey, I got to go run and do this or whatever. All right, well, cool. Hey, do you want me to go and send you some food? I know you haven't eaten today. You want me to do this? You're like, well, man, you're making my life easier? Yeah, go ahead and send me this. They send you Uber eating some food to you. In 1 minute, they sit there, you come back and be like, hey, listen, hey, I know, I came to your house the other day and it was a mess. I decided to go ahead and clean it up for you and then wash your clothes. You're like, what matter of woman is this?
I ain't met them yet. They make them?
They make them. I say I'm from the South. I'm from the South, so that's how they are in the South.
Have you met them? The woman he talking about?
Have you ever
that show up and clean your house and send you some food?
The food, no. The clean the apartment, yes. The do my laundry, no.
Did you have to live with the woman for that?
Yeah.
So you have.
She has cooked me food though.
But have you ever dated a woman that came and did that for you? Y'all wasn't living
Hell
together.
no.
No, I definitely didn't.
See, y'all in
we in LA.
Yeah,
they don't even make them like that.
And
no
that's
more.
the other thing is that the you know, I'm with this guy all the time, and in the places I go to, there's so many superficial women that I'm like, I'm not even gonna.
How do you know they're superficial
I don't know.
if you haven't talked to them?
Just by looking at them, I just know. Like,
That is terrible.
She's out of my budget right now. I don't even want to.
See, I think he operates from that perspective.
out of budget.
Yeah, well, I think that's his whole thing. He wants to be here financially,
So he can get the.
But I'm telling you, it don't work out well. It don't work. It doesn't work out. It doesn't work out.
You got to live the example right in front of you.
It does not work out well because once you start getting a bunch of stuff, and he already got some stuff, but once he starts getting a bunch of stuff, you be like, I don't want to share my stuff with nobody. And it's just weird. Then she come over to the house and now she want to play with your stuff. And you like, you ain't got no stuff. It gets real weird, real tricky.
So
real
what type
fast.
of women you be going after? You go after the same type of women he go after?
He in LA. He like them too. I don't care what he say. He like them too.
You like them too, Alejandro?
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about.
He's talking about. See, them women, they look like they cost a lot, but you still want them. That's why you want to level up your money so you can get that level of woman.
I guess, you know, now that you mention it and we break it down, it seems like I have the wrong intentions.
There you go. So we have some real breakthroughs. We have some breakthroughs today. I learned that I'm looking in all the wrong places. Alejandro realized he definitely wants the baddie, but maybe she's not the preferred person for him.
Yeah.
So we're definitely now. What is this whole thing when it comes to like who pays for what?
I think that you're talking about like, I think like in the beginning when you're dating somebody, I always say the person that's asking the person out need to pay for it.
Okay.
So if I go take a woman out, it'd be so shady for me to say, hey, you want to go out with me? And then she's like, yeah, sure. We go to dinner and I'd be like, you pay for your food and I pay for my food. It's like, what? You asked me out. So you just brought me into an expense that she wasn't ready for. I've had situations and I heard a woman be like, hey, I want to take you out today. You know, I want to treat you. You've taken me out for the last 4 times. Can I treat you? Usually in the past that made me feel extremely uncomfortable, but because I'd be like, I got it, whatever. But then again, but that has to deal with me as a person.
Right.
I'm very uncomfortable with people giving me money or buying me stuff. So that's a me problem. And so with that situation, then welcome it. You know, humble yourself and be like, all right, cool. You know, yeah, treat me to a dinner or whatever. And that's okay. So I just believe that a lot of times we spend too much energy on those type of situations instead of saying, let it be a natural flowing situation where you remove egos out of it. But yeah, when you start talking about paying for all that, see y'all in LA and y'all be having women that be expecting y'all to pay their rent and pay all that, paying their car notes and stuff. I ain't never been in that world. I ain't never had to do that stuff. I ain't never paid no woman's rent, no car note, no none of that.
Ever?
Ever. Mm-mm.
Yeah, I can't
only
say
person
that.
I'll do that for is my wife. But I just didn't see it like that. I didn't date like that. You know what I'm saying? I never got a chance to really just be out here dating. And I never chose the type of women y'all be choosing. I'm not even attracted to that type because it feels superficial. You gotta think I'm a lover boy. I like the feels of a relationship. I love the intellect. I'm a sapiosexual, so I'm attracted to intellect over physical anything. It just so happened I got both with my wife. She pretty, she fine, and she intelligent. But I'm not attracted to that. So I could be around women. My homeboys be like, say, you ain't smashed that. I'd be like, no, I don't like that girl. They be like, man, she bad. I'm like, well, you can have her. Like, it has nothing, that doesn't attract me at all. I'd be like, yeah, she cute. And that's it. Like, you show me some pictures of some women, I'd be like, yeah, she cute. AD, like, what about her? I was like, yeah, she pretty. Yeah, she real pretty. That's about all it is. I wouldn't try to holler at her. Like, even in my single season, it wasn't, I'm just not attracted. Like I'm more like him, where you look at a woman and they look like they cost a lot of money. You know what I'm saying? And I'd be like, I don't want a woman like that. You know what I'm saying? I just don't want a woman that I have to pay for her interest.
Yeah.
Like, I want a woman that's gonna rock with me.
Yeah. No, I get it.
And y'all pay to play. That's the world y'all in.
But I'm halfway there, cause a lot of my girlfriends, they also are intelligent. You know, my mom is a doctor, so I kind of like, you know, I don't want a dummy.
Yeah.
You know, and my mom is very judgmental too. So the person I bring to my house, I cannot just bring, you know, not to throw, you know, some people in my family under the bus, but they brought some people in the house, and and my mom, I hear all my mom's complaints.
Oh, that is too funny.
You don't want to be a part of that discussion.
I probably have been, but I don't want to, you know.
Alejandro, I raised you better than that. That's hilarious. That's hilarious. But yeah, I just say find what your core values are, and you'll find out that, not saying y'all got to be with somebody that's physically unattractive and somebody you're going to regret waking up to every morning, but it has to be more than just the outside. It has to be some substance and some character, something about her that makes you feel like you become a better man. Not that if you were to be, you know, lose some money, then you're going to lose her in the process. It can't be that. And if you feel like that, you're already choosing wrong. You're choosing wrong. If you say, she only with me because I got this, you got the wrong person. Or that may be what you cool with. You know what I'm saying? So your whole job is to keep working and busting your butt to go make money so you don't ever lose her. You know, I want to be in a place where I can rest and be like, she loves me for me. You know,
Gotcha.
I remember this Red Table Talk with Will and Jada, and Will said that he went and built this big old house to feeling like that's what she wanted. And she told him one day, she said, you built that house for you. I don't need all that. You know what I'm saying? And so he felt like Jada needed all of this. And she's like, I didn't want all that. I don't care about all this stuff. So sometimes as men, we convince ourselves that the woman needs all this stuff, as you call it, these toys, all this, you know, a Lamborghini, all this stuff. And you like, she don't really want all that. She just wants you. And that's what you want, is a woman that wants Alejandro. You want a woman that wants AD for you. You want a woman that can sit in the middle of the living room, TV turned off, and y'all can have hours of conversation. She's like, I don't need to go no Mr. Childs. I don't need to go nowhere. I can just sit here and enjoy you. That's what you want.
No, that's awesome. I mean, since you did bring up Will and Jada's relationship, what's your viewpoint on that relationship?
I just don't know. That's what I'm saying. It's so much stuff that I try not to even judge Hollywood relationships, because it's so convoluted. It's so much stuff that we'll never know that I just don't know. I just be like, what is all that? I just don't know.
I would love for them to sit on your couch one day.
When I say that'd be a dream, because we will talk. If they're willing to really, really talk, we'll talk. Because I'm so curious. Like, even when I hear Will do interviews or whatever, when I hear him talk, I just feel like Will is just a good-hearted man.
Right.
Well, I be like, Will, you just a good dude. I just believe that Hollywood has tainted a lot of stuff. You know what I'm saying? And has tainted him a lot to where, and he's a brilliant man, and one of those men that have read so much stuff, studied so much stuff, that oftentimes you can get confused with all this influence that you get. But at his core, I believe he's just a good dude that wants a woman that he can love properly, that loves him for who he is, and just a solid dude.
Right. What would you tell to all the single men out there in the United States, where in the world?
I would tell these men, man, you got to heal. You got to heal from, we talk about social media, about how the perception of all these options are out there. But I also say we need to heal from the aspect that we don't need women. A lot of this social media rhetoric is that men lose in marriage. And if you believe that lie, there's nothing I can do to convince you otherwise. If you believe that there's no value that a woman brings into your life as your wife, then just stay single. But I want to encourage men, especially in our culture, that we are declining in our marriage rates. They said by 2030, we'll be in the teens. We're the lowest ethnic group to get married in the United States as African Americans. We got to change that.
Wow, that's true?
Yes, it's 100% true. You know what I'm saying? And so what happens is, they say we're going to be in the teens. Right now, we're in the 30 percentile. The reality is that we just don't believe in marriage. You got to listen. If you scroll down your timeline and you hear black women talking about, you don't need a black man, we can do it on our own. We this, and you hear this INDEPENDENT. Do you know what that means? Listen to the songs that we have that are shaping our culture to say that we don't need a man. We don't need a woman. We got our own stuff. You can't trust a black woman. You can't trust a black man. All black men cheat. All black women. You hear that and you start believing that nonsense, then that's how you'll begin to live your life. Instead of saying, no, those are people that have judged, that have picked wrong, got hurt, just like every other race. Everybody deals with infidelity. Everybody deals with broken homes. Everybody deals with what they deal with. Don't throw the whole concept and the need of marriage away. I say heal. Figure out what your own trauma is. Don't base your trauma based on somebody else. You may look at somebody else and see, so-and-so, he was engaged to this woman, and he was about to marry this woman, and she took half his money. See, that's why you can't trust no women. That's why I ain't gonna never trust nobody. I've never, ever adopted somebody else's story as my own to say they dealt with this, so that's the reason why I ain't gonna never trust these women who have songs like these H's ain't loyal. You know what I'm saying? It's like, Why do we say that? And so you start brainwashing yourself into that ideology that's making you now not value marriage. So I would encourage every man to do the work, whether you got to go through, get a counselor, a therapist, to really unearth some things that you may have seen or didn't see growing up, where you don't even see the value of marriage. I don't know if you come from a two-parent home or what, but some people haven't even seen a two-parent household. So they like, I've never seen it. How can I aspire to it? Well, it's a whole lot of other things you may not have seen, but you still aspire. You may not have even met somebody that was in the NBA, but you aspired from a little kid to go to the NBA. Nobody in your family ever went to the NBA, but that didn't stop you from aspiring for it. So I'm saying that you have to recalibrate and say, what is it that I desire? And then truly go after that, and don't let nobody stop you from getting it.
Okay. But there is this notion that women have, and you kind of briefly kind of skimmed it a little bit. Once women become successful, they feel like they don't need men.
Yeah, some women.
Yeah.
I'm always say some. There are women that think like that, but I've met women that don't think like that. Like my wife didn't think like that. She always desired marriage even when she was in her 20s. She always desired it. She's 38. But her whole heart has always been, I want to be married. I want to be married. I want to be married. Now, society will teach you, and my daughter had this conversation with me. She said that a couple of her friends made her feel guilty about desiring, I don't know if it was marriage or having a kid. Oh, she wanted to be a mom. It's like, they try to make her feel guilty about it. Like, why? That's all you want to be as a mom. She said, I believe that it's like her whole mission in earth was to be a mother. And they tried to criticize her about desiring that so heavily. And she was like, that's what I want. Like, that's just what I want. Luckily, last year in August, she gave birth to my first grandchild, Claire Elizabeth, and she's pregnant again. But that's after going through a lot of miscarriages and trouble and difficulty and challenges getting pregnant. She's pregnant again. And giving birth to my first grandson this year. And so, to thine own self be true. If you desire to be a parent, be a parent. If you desire to be a wife, be a wife. If you desire to be a husband, be it. Don't let outside opinion sway you from your heart's desire. Got you.
Man, thank you for showing up today, man, and getting Alejandro on the right page. Man, it's been so helpful.
Alejandro still said he's gonna be a pimp out here. He said he gave himself 9 years to get married.
But we appreciate you stopping by the podcast, man. This is gonna be great.